What's up, guys? My name's Ty. Welcome to my second video now. I've been very excited to make this video, finally talking about why I love movies. This is one of those videos that it's definitely gonna be a little bit longer, but like I said in my previous video, I want to keep it a little bit more uncut and just talk about, I guess you could say, my history with movies, just so that it can build up to where I am now, so you could kind of get like a better idea of why I care about movies, like what I love about them, and like where did I, what started it? What started my passion for these 2-hour-long videos of people walking around and running around and monsters and whatever type of movies you like, whatever. All that matters is where did it get started and where am I at now? And that's kind of just what I want to talk about today. One thing I want to mention is this is going to be a pretty long video, honestly. So, maybe just turn on your Xbox, maybe just, eat a meal while you play this. I'm not saying you got to sit here and watch, but this might be almost more like a listening video, if that makes sense. Almost like a podcast. I know I keep bringing that up, but that's kind of just how I wanted it to be. I just wanted it to be like an open discussion almost in a way like that. So yeah, just sit back, relax, grab a snack, grab a drink, something good like Dr. Pepper, or if for some reason you like vitamin water, which sucks, or if you like, let me think of something else that's pretty trash. Oh, like Gatorade Zero, that also kind of sucks. Don't drink something good, all right? Like Red Bull or something. Keep you into this video because I'm very excited about what I'm about to talk about. Also, something I forgot to mention in my first video, why am I standing up? The reason I'm standing up, like I said, I forgot to mention this in my first video, but the reason I'm standing up is, honestly, I just think a lot better when I'm standing up. Whenever I'm on a phone call, my family will make fun of me because I'm always pacing back and forth while I'm on the phone. I don't know why, when I'm talking, it's easier. I don't want to just be sitting in a chair, so I'm going to be fidgeting or whatever. So, all right, let's just cut to the chase now. Where did my love for movies start? So we got to take this all the way back. You might see what I'm wearing right now, okay? This one-of-one identical replica Spider-Man Tobey Maguire outfit from when he's in the wrestling match. From his famous line,
"That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you?"
I was born in the year 2002. Spider-Man 1 came out about a month and a half before I was born, and just for that reason, that movie just sits so fondly in my memory and in my heart, and I love it to death. But that let's get off that topic. 2002 is a great year for movies, okay? Right at the top of my head, 3 great ones: Punch Drunk Love, Adam Sandler's best performance, Lilo and Stitch, Disney's best movie in my opinion, but I love all of them. Number 3, Spider-Man. Like I said, Tobey Maguire, who's the best Spider-Man. I'll make a Spider-Man video one day. I'm such a big fan. So, 2002, okay? I was born, Technology wasn't anything crazy, I mean, now I'm 20 years old, so big difference in 2023. But as I was growing up, it's not like I was on an iPad. It's not like I was, doing anything crazy. I was playing with toys and watching movies. My mom would always put on Disney movies and Pixar movies. I wasn't really into I don't know, DreamWorks wasn't necessarily too popular at the time. I feel like Shrek and stuff started to get popular when I was maybe 8, but I was more interested in the movies that I grew up with while I almost didn't even know I was self-aware, when I was 5, Toy Story. I mean, WALL-E came out when I was 5. Up came out around that same time. WALL-E and Up are 2 movies that I love to death. And those are the types of movies where even if you didn't really understand what was happening while you're growing up, they stick with you, you know what I mean? And it's hard to not say that you're attached to those movies when you grew up watching them. And that's one of those things where I have a connection with my mom for that reason, because we both love Disney movies. We went to go see Lightyear in the theater. That was 2022. That was about a year ago, actually. We went to go see Lightyear in the theater together. I really wanted to take her to go see it. We went to go see Toy Story 4. She loves Toy Story. That's definitely her number one trilogy. So her love for those movies, even though, she was just a mom putting on some movies, I don't think she realized the impact that would have on me in the future. So, as you can see, I grew up kind of like a Disney kid. I loved the parks. I loved all that stuff, whatever. Now we can move on a little bit. Now, I'm starting to grow up, maybe middle school. And, I was kind of I don't want to say a nerdy kid in school, but I wasn't Mr. Popular by any means. And I just loved all that, I loved video games. I remember I'd play Madden all the time. I loved football, but Madden was like my number one thing. I loved it. I remember before you could even like I wouldn't post videos or anything, but I would like get my little iPod and like record the TV of my Madden plays. Like it wouldn't even be like I'm screen recording. It would just be me holding up the phone, and I'll probably like put a clip in the video or just like a screenshot of them because I still have them on my phone. But I loved to do that. I just loved all this nerdy stuff. During that time, that's when I realized, damn, movies are pretty good. Going back a few years, my first like big event movie was Spider-Man 3, which my dad took me to. That was 2007, so I was 5. Somewhere deep in like either my mom's camera roll or on like my home's like desktop computer, there's definitely a picture of me from that because I wore a full Spider-Man outfit to see that movie. As you can see, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, but my dad took me, I wore a Spider-Man outfit to go see Spider-Man 3, see Tobey Maguire do his dance, and that's another movie that I love, even though some people hate it. But yeah, so that was like my first event movie. Even though I was 5, I'm not gonna act like I remember it so much. I do remember like the outfit a little bit. It's not like I'm like, oh yeah, that was a great movie when I walked out of the theater. I was 5 years old. I was literally a child. Moving on. During those teenage years, Man of Steel came out. And honestly, I'm not a fan of Man of Steel, but these are movies that I remember seeing in the theater, specifically with, now we're moving on. I don't want to say moving on from my mom. My mom's always been a character in my life. She's always been a part of my life. I have a very strong relationship with my parents. They're like my best friends. 2010, Toy Story 3 came out, I believe, right? 2010, yeah. So I saw that with my mom probably. 2012 or 2013. No, I'm pretty sure 2012. I don't know, whatever. Man of Steel came out. I went to see that with my dad. Amazing Spider-Man 2, I remember I went to go see with my dad in the theater. Then came my first, what I would call, monumental movie. A movie that I was so excited for. And it's funny because you're going to think, oh my god, he was in middle school, like in the early 2010s. Was it Interstellar? Was it a classic like Prisoners, 2012? Was it one of these amazing like historical like revolutionary movies? My first movie that I remember being so excited for was the Lego movie. The Lego movie came out in 2014, okay? I was 12 years old. I grew up loving Legos. Like I said, I wasn't like an iPad kid. That wasn't even a thing at the time, okay? Yeah, sure, iPhones were out, but no kids really play with that. Kids were playing with toys, and I was playing with Legos, okay? The Lego movie was huge for me. I remember I went to go see it. I remember it was in this theater in upstate New York because we were up there for like a little vacation thing, and it came out during that weekend, and I was like begging my mom to go see it. And we went to see it, and let me tell you, I loved that movie. That was maybe where I got a little bit of love for Chris Pratt, even though I didn't know who he was at the time because I really love him, but that was just like maybe like planting a seed type of thing for the future where I'd eventually meet like Star-Lord and things like that. But speaking of Chris Pratt, now we're moving to 2015. See, No Way Home was an event for me. But yeah, the Lego movie was crazy. But now I'm a year older. I'm a little bit more self-aware. As you become older, you become more aware of things. 2015, right before my 13th birthday, came Jurassic World. I grew up loving dinosaurs. I know I keep saying like, oh, I loved this. Oh, I loved Legos. I loved Spider-Man. No. I was just a boy. I just loved all these things. But dinosaurs were number one. The fact that they were making another Jurassic World, with Chris Pratt, not that I knew at the time, but again, there's like this weird Chris Pratt connection I have with my childhood. Because that was when I first got Instagram. I believe I got Instagram like 2014. I was like 12, I had some account, and I started keeping up with the news. And I was like keeping up with movie news. Oh my god, this dinosaur is going to be in Jurassic World. This dinosaur is going to be in Jurassic World. And I started to just love the hype. This is the first movie I really was hyped for. I was like staying up with the hype too because I was seeing the news. Like Lego movie, I just remember seeing a poster or maybe I saw a trailer and I was like, oh, I want to see that. But now I was like keeping up with it. Oh my god, this person's going to be in it. Do I know who Bryce Dallas Howard is? No, but oh my god, she's going to be in it. She's the second character. I remember I had the Lego sets. I was making stop motion. I mean, this is another thing where maybe deep in my home's computer there's like a video of it or a picture of me playing with the Legos. I used to do stop motion videos like for the Jurassic World Legos or whatever. And I remember those were big productions for me on my little iPod. I'd be like taking the pictures, moving it, spending hours on that. Really quick, just because I forgot to mention this. In 2010, I remember, or 2009, I went to go see Avatar with my uncle. Just a little side note, but just shout out to him. That was another thing that we did and another memory I have. And I remember we went to McDonald's before we saw it. Just had to throw that in there. Going back to 2015. Such a big movie for me. And it just, I didn't know it at the time, but this was almost going to be my peak for that time. Why? Because once middle school ends, you know, you kind of think you're Mr. Cool, I guess you could say. Then, you know, middle school's over, right? We're moving on, okay? Actually, no. One more thing I have to bring up, because I have notes on my computer right here, and I spotted something out of the corner of my eye. When I was also in that middle school era, I always had on the TV this sci-fi channel, okay? I'm not talking about the genre of movies like, oh, science fiction, no. The sci-fi channel, and there would always be these, like, $4 movies on. I'm not saying rent. I mean, like, the budget of these was, like, $4. It would be, like, Anaconda versus Crocodile, like, or, like, Three-Headed Shark versus, like, something. Just these, like cheap-ass, like, monster movies. And I literally fell in love with those. Also, I went to go see Godzilla in the theater, because that was 2014. Another one. Just adding fuel to the fire. Okay, but I loved those. And also, there's this movie. I went to go look it up on Letterboxd today because I'm like, has anyone even seen this movie? It's called Ice Road Terror, okay? I know you're probably saying, what movie is that? This feeds into what I was saying because I checked it and only 190 people on the Letterboxd have ever seen it. Just to be clear, most of the popular movies on Letterboxd have like 1 million plus. Like, you know, the well-known movies, maybe even 2 million, I don't know. This movie has 190 people, at least just on Letterboxd, that have ever even seen the movie. There's like 28 reviews. I'll put it on the screen, but yeah, those are the type of movies I loved. And my dad and me still like joke about the movie. Like, we used to like make fun of it because it was so dumb, but I still love it. Like, it just, you know, I appreciate it, you know? And then also being in middle school, you know, you had to be a little bit, you know, my parents weren't super strict or anything, but you had to be a little bit, you know, oh, I want to like go outside the boundaries. Like, I want to watch that like rated R movie or something, you know? I remember that me and my dad, sometimes, like, after my mom would go to bed, you know what I mean? We'd watch Jackass. Like, 1, 2, 3, whatever. Those were the best movies. 'Cause I was like, yo, I shouldn't be seeing this. And it wasn't like, yeah, it's not like the most violent, the most disgusting, the most sexual thing. But I loved watching those. I loved them. And it just gave me this feeling like, yo, my dad's pretty cool. And he still is cool. But I'm just saying, the fact that he let me, you know, it was like, it just felt like such a cool thing. Like, I'm doing that adult thing. Okay. Moving on. Let me check my list, though, because I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. High school's where... See, I'm not really going to talk about, like, my personal life, but, you know, you're, like, a teenager now. You're like, oh, I don't like this nerdy stuff. You're too cool for it. There's, you know, worrying about making friends, worrying about girls. I found my girlfriend in high school. Worrying about, you know, even just school, you could say, because, you know, in middle school, what are you doing? Like, pre-algebra, whatever. I don't even know. But, you know, I thought I was too cool for stuff. I started getting into like clothes. I started getting into sneakers. You know, I cared about what people thought about me a lot, especially compared to middle school when all I cared about was playing video games with my friends. I played Black Ops 3 like there was no tomorrow, okay? And I still play that game till this day, Zombies. But yeah, like I just thought I was too cool for movies or whatever. One thing I remember, which it hurts me to admit, it literally hurts me to admit this, when Endgame came out, I knew nothing about Marvel, but it was an event because it was all anybody talked about. And I remember being like, what are all these nerds so excited for? And I'm going to be honest with you. This hurts my soul to say. I was joking around with people about like, oh, I'm going to spoil Endgame for you. I remember this one kid, I won't say his name. He probably won't even remember this, but I remember he was like, no, don't spoil it. And I went out of my way. This is really mean, but keep in mind, I didn't know at the time to like look up what happens because I remember Endgame like leaked a little bit, and I told him oh, Iron Man dies in Endgame. And I said that to him right before he was going to go see the movie, like 2 days. And I regret it so much ever since. Honestly, to be fair, he wasn't like the biggest Marvel fan. I had other friends that were like super hyped. He was like, eh. And like he was kind of just like, oh, come on. Like, why'd you tell me that? He wasn't like crying or anything. But I'll tell you one thing. If I was as big as a fan as I am now, back then, and someone told me that, I would have got suspended. I would have gotten expelled from school because this kid would have got punched in the face. And I don't know. I felt bad about that. But yeah, I thought these kids were just nerdy. I was like, what are they so excited for? Then COVID hits, okay? And I'm sitting around, not much to do. And yeah, you know, in high school, yeah, I saw movies. It wasn't like I didn't. But during COVID, my girlfriend was like, yo, I always loved the Harry Potter movies. We should watch all of them. So it's like May 2020, maybe April 2020, late April. We have nothing to do. So what do? We watch all 8 Harry Potter movies in maybe a matter of like 12 days or something like that. Maybe it was 11 days, I don't know. Drive to our house, watch 1, go home. Drive to our house, watch like 2, go home. There was nothing to do. Everything was closed, whatever. That's where I started to finally be like, you know what? This nerdy stuff's kind of cool. And also 2020, I'm graduating high school. I was like one of those seniors that didn't really get a senior year, so it wasn't like anyone was judging me or, you know, because I was kind of always, I'll be honest, I was a little bit afraid of like being judged by people for like liking nerdy stuff. But at the end of the day, I loved that stuff. Like it was a part of me when I was growing up. Then in high school, it's like, you take a break, you think you're cool, you know, all this. And again, I'm only 20, but it still is, I'm like 3 or 4 years removed at this point. So, you know, now looking back, it's like, damn, it's kind of crazy. But we watched them. First of all, now I'm a diehard Harry Potter fan, just to be clear. I loved them, and that just pulled me right back into like my childhood stuff. Then I started taking movies a little bit more seriously. Not as seriously, but I showed an interest more in them, you know? Then I went to college that same year. Honestly, I didn't have a great first semester at my college. In fact, after going away to this, we'll just say unnamed college, I know one of my friends is going to watch this video, and they're going to name the college in the comments, and they're going to embarrass me. But it's not the college that I'm currently at. But after my first semester of freshman year, just my first semester, I was like, Mom, Dad, you know, I really don't want to go back. And, you know, like I said, we have a great relationship. But, by the way, I promise, this involves movies. But I was like, I really don't want to go back. So they're like, okay, that's fine. You could just do online the second semester, and then we'll figure it out from there. And, you know, we'll transfer you to a school maybe you're more comfortable at. Okay. Honestly, I didn't really realize the toll it would take on me being away. Because, you know, all my friends at this point that I did have at home were away at college. So I was kind of just, and my girlfriend, she's a year younger, so she was in high school, like a senior in high school at the time. So, like, I was with her, yeah, but I wasn't really, like, I was a little bit alone. I was a little bit lonely in that sense. Right during that winter break, so right before that semester, I was looking and I was like, damn, all these Marvel movies, this is going to sound really stupid, all these Marvel movies are connected.
No, for real, don't play like that. Are you serious?
I swear to God, literally, even though at this point the MCU was like 12 years old, yeah, 2020 to 2008, I didn't even know they were connected. Like, yeah, I knew Iron Man 1 connected to Iron Man 2, and I was like, yeah, maybe the Avengers, yeah, I guess Iron Man's in that. I did not know the MCU was connected. I didn't even know the MCU was a thing. I was just like, oh, these are connected. Oh, there's an order. And then I was like, oh, this is like Harry Potter, where like you watch the movies in order and it's like this big saga. Man, at the end of December 2020, I did not realize how much that would change my life. Seriously, I know it sounds crazy, but like that really dragged me. I mean, to think that, I thought Harry Potter pulled me back into movies. The MCU made me realize, God, I love movies so much. I watched Iron Man. And yeah, some of these movies I've seen. I remember I watched Iron Man 3, like, in the theater when I was growing up. I remember I watched The Avengers, the first one, when I was growing up. But yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of some. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe. But, like, most of these movies, and also, I remember this, there's like 30 movies or 31 in the MCU now. At this time, there was only like 23. So then over the next couple months, I started to watch them. But, I mean, yeah, this is a little bit more personal. And I know it's kind of weird to share this on the internet, but this goes back to me being at home and I said I was a little bit lonely. Honestly, I'm not one to claim that I'm like ever depressed or I'm anxious, but that honestly was a very depressing time for me. Like that's the reason that I brought it up. And I mean, like I said, I hate putting this on the internet because it's kind of weird, but I mean, that's the only time in my life where I've ever just felt like it was hard to get out of bed. Like it was honestly just like a terrible time, and it's just like you have no motivation. But honestly, the MCU is what pulled me out of that rut, because during those 2 months, maybe from like February to like maybe early April or like just April in general, there was like 2-month stretch where I just really wasn't feeling that well, just honestly in my head. Watching those movies just gave me something to look forward to. Oh, I watched Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, now I can watch the next movie. Like I could watch Age of Ultron. Now I could watch this. Now I could watch this. And I was so excited. Every maybe other day I was watching the next MCU movie. Then I got to Endgame. When I watched Endgame for the first time, yeah, I know that Iron Man died. That was a thing. That was a known thing. But when I watched this movie, considering I didn't know the plot of it, it hit me like a truck. And that was right at the same time where I finally got my application done and I was transferring colleges. It was about to be summer, which, nice weather. And I'm finally finishing this saga that I just finished like the past few months just falling in love with. And honestly, at the end of Endgame, I remember just being so relieved. It felt like all this just washed away. Like this feeling I've had for 3 months just washed away. And it's literally one of my favorite moments of my whole life. I know that sounds crazy, but even just watching Endgame in my living room, yes, literally one of my favorite moments of my whole life, if I'm being honest. But obviously I've had other great moments. But it's just a personal thing for me. And I think that's what got me so excited for the MCU. And also, as much as I hate to say it, that's what got me excited for Black Widow, which is the first movie I saw in the theaters that was related to the MCU. And I have nostalgia to that movie personally. I know that a lot of people hate it, quite honestly, and a lot of people don't like it. I think it's pretty good, but I think it's just because I was so excited to see it, and it was just something that was new to me. I got to see an MCU movie in the theater, I was out of the loop, so I got to catch up at a good time. And yeah, that pretty much catches us up to here. Fell in love with the MCU, and I started getting more seriously into movies. I got a Letterboxd account, which I know sounds kind of stupid, oh great, you got a movie social media account, but then, it makes you want to start logging movies, then you want to start writing reviews, which I only started doing maybe 4 months ago, just writing reviews on there and just really falling in love with movies. But now that we're up to this point, now you're somewhat seeing what I'm seeing with movies, right? And we're kind of on the same page. Because, you have to look back to be able to look forward, if that makes sense. Now that we're on the same page, like I said, damn, I've been rambling for a while now. I hope you're still here, but I hope this is interesting to you. Yeah, one thing I gotta say is I just love the escapism that movies give to you. Let's just say you're having a hard day, I'm in college right now. I'm in engineering. It's not easy. I can tell you that. It's really not easy. It's the furthest thing from easy, man. It's very tough. Sometimes I'm getting nailed by school. Maybe I just finished an exam and I'm tired. I have a final tomorrow, actually, at the moment I'm recording this. I have a final tomorrow, my last final, and then I'm done with this semester. Man, let me tell you, just watching a movie, being able to forget about all your problems, everything that you're worrying about in the world, maybe you got a family problem, maybe you got a work problem, a school problem, whatever. I love that. And it's not like you're watching a documentary. See, for me, I love fiction, because when I'm watching Harry Potter, there's no wizards. When I look around, I'm not walking around here there's wizards. No, this is something that doesn't exist, so it's cool to see what's going on in that world. It's cool to feel like you're, a part of what they're doing. And honestly, I know that a lot of people have, their favorite thing about this world. A lot of people are like, God, I love nature. And I'm not talking about hobbies. I just mean, what they love about the world. Oh, I love friendship. I love, family. You're a family-oriented people. My favorite thing in the world, if I had to say one thing, just generally, not a hobby, like I said, is just people. I love people. I know there's a ton of bad people, but there's so many good people, and I'm just such a very family-oriented person. I love my friends. I just love people. So when I'm watching people, right, I'm watching Spider-Man, I'm watching Batman, I'm watching Harry Potter, I'm watching Dr. Grant, from Jurassic World. I'm watching them succeed and have to go through all these obstacles just to get to where they're trying to get. It just feels good. I like watching people do what they want to do. I like watching people in these crazy situations. I like watching people interact with each other. I just love stories. I love storytelling. I think it's just such a beautiful thing, because technically everyone's life is like a story, you know what I mean? And it's one of those things where this is just, sometimes life can be boring, it's reality. It's not like every single day you're doing something crazy. But with storytelling, people are writing these stories. They're writing them to be interesting. So you're getting to watch someone's exciting life. Not that your life's super boring. I enjoy my life generally, but it's just such an exciting thing to just look at something that will never happen and be able to just watch it and forget about everything else, and it feels like you're there, like you're in like you're immersed. That's the best word. I love being immersed. And also, kind of just something random I'm throwing out there, For those of you that don't know what this means, there's this term called world building, which is something in movies where, let's just say, they're basically just describing everything around the world. Like in Harry Potter. I know I keep going back to Harry Potter, but it's such a great example of world building. When you learn about the world of Harry Potter, it's not like our world. There's the school. There's all these monsters that live within the world. There's different types of wizards. There's there's just things that are in the world that the writer, the person, writing all this stuff, builds, and they make it. So I guess when J.K. Rowling was writing the books, it's like almost like the rules of the world, you could say, It just makes sense, So I'm a big fan of world building. So that's why I love fantasy. I love science fiction. I love fiction just in general. It could be anything. I also like nonfiction stuff. I brought up Prisoners before. That's one of my favorite movies. It's just one of these things where I just love being able to escape. Hopefully I'm not running in circles, but just it almost feels like you're going on a vacation. That's the best way I could describe it. For 2 hours, you're going on a vacation to this place that you'll never get to physically go. But at the same time, when you turn your brain off and you're in the movie theater, you're not thinking I'm in a movie theater. You're watching this and you're like, wow, I'm there. I'm with these characters. I'm watching their journey. You're watching them fail. You're watching them go through all these tough times maybe. And then, which all leads to a great payoff at the end. And I think that's why I love movies, is just because of the fact that I love people and I love watching people do cool stuff. I love watching people just have great friendships and relationships with each other. And I don't know. I think at the end of the day, that's just what it comes down to. And it's kind of crazy that I've rambled on about this for so long at this point, because I thought this video would be a lot shorter. But yeah, I think that at the end of the day, that's the reason I love movies, because they just give me an escape, and I love just being. It's just such an exciting feeling, it gives you such, I don't know, just just an amazing feeling. It's such a heartwarming feeling when you're going to see that movie that you're excited for. Like, man, I was going to see Guardians the other day. I was walking into that theater, and you can't even. I was almost shaking. Not that I was shaking, I'm being dramatic, but I was just, on the inside, I felt like I was shaking. I felt like my heart was pounding, and my brain was like, I just cannot wait to just go there. It's almost like I was saying, I can't wait to go to the MCU. Like, I can't wait to almost teleport there. Like, it just immerses you in wherever you're going. And I think that's the best way to describe it. I think I'm done. One thing I forgot to say in the beginning of this video, because I think I look a little bit weird now. I said I was wearing this outfit, and I forgot to mention why. I made this for Spider-Man No Way Home, which is easily the most insane theater experience I have ever had. And that movie, I don't even know if it'll ever get beaten out, but I'll probably put a picture here. I'm probably putting a few pictures, whatever. Nothing will ever beat that movie out for me when it comes to an experience. The hype of seeing Toby, Andrew, Tom together. By the way, a year and a half in the future spoilers, so I'm sorry if it's been a year and a half and you haven't seen this movie, but Tom and Andrew are in it. I'm sorry. But yeah, I made this. I was just so excited that, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, you just love these characters. You fall in love with these characters, And it's just one of those things where, I don't know, everyone has their thing, and movies are just mine. Movies are those things that make me just feel happy when I'm not happy. They make me forget about my problems just for a little bit, And it's just such a great thing, and it's like an artistic thing that you can appreciate that these directors are making. So yeah, I think that wraps it up. I hope everyone enjoyed this. I hope you're sitting around just chilling, watching this. I know this is a bit longer, but yeah, I hope I could just make longer, more uncut videos like this, and you could still just watch them and appreciate them, almost like I said in my other video, kind of just like a podcast a little bit, where yeah, you don't really have to be watching the screen. You kind of just listen to me just ramble about whatever. But yeah, man, I'm really excited. My next video is honestly gonna be a really good one. It's gonna be my most anticipated movies of summer 2023. Very excited to talk about those blockbusters, and also maybe some ones that are gonna fly under the radar a little bit that I want to make sure you guys hear about, because I'm excited about them, and I want you guys to maybe get excited about them if you think they sound interesting. So, damn, man, I just talked for so long. I really hope you guys like this video. Please like it, comment, subscribe. Whatever you could do helps. I love all you guys. Thank you for listening to me, and I will see you guys in the next video.
She love the way I'm swaggin'. Everywhere I go, they be like, yeah, what happened? Looking like a check, I can't even flex.